Hello, Divine Feminine. Welcome. Thank you for joining us here at the Conduits. We are going to do a reading today on your Divine Masculine's karmic situation, their karmic life, their karmic relationship, karmic lessons, things that they need to learn. Look at that little card out of place there. And before we do that, though, I have a question for all of you Divine Feminines out there. You have been called. The twin flame experience is one of a unique nature that is meant to start you on the path of ascension toward enlightenment. It is a calling. Have you heard of the saying that many are called, but chosen are few? You may have heard that before. Many are called, but chosen are few. People are called to an awakening. Source is always calling us and bidding us back toward the center. But chosen are few. What does that mean? Many would say that chosen are few because they do not meet the standards or the requirements of Source in order to be chosen, which just creates a very big spiritual ego. Really what that means is that chosen are few because few choose to answer the call. It's not whether you're worthy or not at all. It's whether or not you choose to answer the call. Few choose to answer. Why? Because few choose the journey within. Most stay externally focused, in split energy, bound to the black and white checkerboard of duality. Few choose the middle path. It's not an easy one, that's why. So you've been chosen, Divine Feminine. Or wait, let me backtrack. Words are important. You've been called. But are you chosen? Are you choosing? Will you choose to answer that call? The universe has deemed you already, and everyone in it, and everything in it, as worthy. Your worth is inherent, which means it's already set. Whether you choose to acknowledge it or choose to be in that abundant wealth of inheritance, of love and pure joy, that's your choice. Anyway, done with the lecture. I don't mean it as a lecture. Honestly, I mean it more as a urge or a beckoning to shift your focus away from the Divine Masculine and instead put it on yourself, your ascension, your value, your worth. Answer the call that your soul has sent to you and choose yourself. Choose to go within, where the only place that enlightenment and your answers and your mission can be found. Okay? It's all a labyrinth. The world is a stage. The center, only your compass can take you to. I can't lead you there. Your Divine Masculine can't lead you there. Nobody can lead you there. The only place you can find that is by choosing the journey within, so that you can find the center And all the little things, all the little experiences that happen outside of you are just dead ends pointing you, refining you on your path toward that center. All right. Sometimes people complain that I talk too long before I start the readings, but I think that the readings are far more about your journey within and the message that I'm trying to convey about that than it is about anything else. So I like to throw these in. Those of you that don't like it, you guys can always skip forward. But those of you that see the value in what I'm saying, I'm going to continue to keep these things in there because I know that you guys have a fast forward button. And if you don't want to hear it, you guys can fast forward to the reading. And those of you that find value in it, I want you to have that. We are each other's teachers and students, and we're here to share our knowledge along the way. We are friends on our paths, and I'm very grateful that yours and mine have crossed. All right, so this is a new spread that I haven't done with you guys before. It's a karmic spread that I think has a lot of great questions that we will be asking. So this first one is what in your divine masculine's karmic cycle needs to be broken? And for this, we have 7 of Pentacles in reverse. So again, the question is, what needs to be broken in your divine masculine's karmic cycle? So your divine masculine has certain issues with procrastination. Nothing is ever what it seems on the surface. And so they may be procrastinators. They may sometimes even appear to be lazy to certain people or others around them. They may even have these perspectives of themselves. They might give up too soon. But where do all these kinds of behaviors and patterns come from? They always stem from not knowing one's inherent worth, not knowing or believing in one's abilities. It comes from insecurity, fear. It always traces back to fear. Fear of accomplishment sometimes. Fear of success can even be there. Fear of shooting for success only to be a disappointment, and so why try? I can't fail if I don't try, right? That's certain perspectives that people have sometimes. And your divine masculine has a lot of self-esteem issues that are causing them to feel like they're not going to be successful anyway, or they're afraid, and so they procrastinate doing things because they are worried that they won't be able to do it well, or that they can't do it right, or they may be afraid of the judgment of others. So there are these very negative mind patterns that your divine masculine suffers from on a daily basis, moment to moment, and it affects all of their relationships. It affects their entire relationship to the world of form and how it shows up for them. Their jobs, their bosses, their parents, their children, their family, their friends. All of these things are affected by your divine masculine's subconscious belief that they're not good enough, or that they are not talented, or that they are not as good as other people around them. That is a paralyzing perspective to carry around with you in life, but is so much more common than we realize, especially when we're in that place. We think we're the only one that suffers from it, and we do all kinds of things to hide that we feel that way because we want people to think we're confident. We want people to think the opposite of that. So we put on a mask to hide our true feelings and our true fears. That's the karmic cycle that your divine masculine needs to break. Authenticity and believing in oneself is a goal. When you recognize the divinity within you, you can do nothing but honor it with deep, profound respect and gratitude on a multi-dimensional level. This next card is what needs to be honored. What needs to be honored in your divine masculine's life, in their relationships, something within them that needs to be honored. Interesting. The death card comes up for this. Something within your divine masculine is trying to make its way to the surface. This card to me symbolizes the death of the old self, the removal of the mask, and stepping into one's own true, authentic being. Knowing thyself. The parts of us that we hide are sometimes the very parts of us that the world needs the most. The parts of us that we despise and fear are oftentimes the things that end up being loved by those around us. We shame ourselves by from the conditioning of the world, wanting to fit in. Half the time, though, what we think we need to fit into is just a perception and an illusion that we've cast upon ourselves, and other people don't even see it that way. So there is something in your divine masculine that needs to come out, and there's going to be a change that takes place, and it's going to seem like it's in the twinkling of an eye when that shift happens. And everything that's going on in your divine masculine's life should be honored. And the reason why is positive or negative, karmic or not karmic. You know, these are all things that are happening in your divine masculine's life to refine them and bring them into alignment with their core. Just like you, just like me. In duality on the checkerboard, we think, oh, it's good or it's bad. This person's good or this person's bad. But what we don't realize is that it's all for our highest good. God sends us nothing but angels. We choose to see it as an angel or a demon. That's something that exists within us. That's something that we create of our own dualistic, split mind. Double-minded man. Yet let your eye be single. Collapse the duality. Not everybody on this path wants to go into that calling of understanding your relationship as a soul to the material world of form. Not everybody wants that. Some people just want to stay focused on the outside because they think that's where change can be made. They're still under the illusion of the mirrored universe, not yet recognizing that they are the master of that universe. All right, this next card just flew out already. Interesting. I'm going to have to look this card up. This must be special for this deck because I've never seen it before. Let's read the card or the question first. And then we're going to look. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to look up what this card is. I'm going to show it to you first, though. So this next question is, what should be forgiven and released? And the card that came up for this is the fates. Now, forgive me, I have to go look this card because this is not typically in tarot decks, and I don't know for sure yet what the meaning of it is. So we're going to go and look at that. But just upon initial first looking at this, this looks like a primordial spiral, right? Or a split kind of fractalized being that, you know, isn't, it's whole, yet it feels distorted or separate. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, I'm going to pause this for a second, you guys. I'm going to look up what the meaning of this card is, and so that we can find out why the universe fated us with this card. Okay, so I'm going to read to you guys a few of the things that popped up when I did a Google search on this. So, the fates, fate, karma, acceptance, that there are things that you cannot change, and knowing what those things are. Then there is something called the three fates that have to do with the past, the present, and the future. Servant of the fates believe that dreams are messages from the gods and the spirit world. Then calling on the fates means that you can look into your life through dreams, meditation, and divination. So we're going to look at this. So something that was said here, I'll just point this out too, is that they talk about when you call on the fates in to aid in divination, right? The fates weave each person's life thread. They can help you look into your life through dreams, meditation, and divination. This card has these three spirals that kind of look like that thread, right? And there's three of them. So what needs to be forgiven and what needs to be like overlooked, right? The fact that this card came up and it has to do with karma in our karmic reading is pretty extraordinary. I don't know if you would agree with me on that or not, but I think that it is. And I always look at these little types of things as synchronicity. I mean, I've not used this deck very much, and I've never seen this card before. So what needs to be forgiven and released with this, I believe, is the parts of ourself that hold us back from stepping into our authenticity. We often project outwardly what is going on inward, right? So Neville Goddard, if you haven't listened to Neville Goddard's work, highly suggest that you do. He's done so much for the spiritual seeker by documenting his life's work and his experiences as a soul having gone through the ascension process. And the way that we affect the mirror, the universal mirror, has everything to do with what we consent to believe in within ourselves. And when we have consented through ignorance or deception, illusion, innocence, just being naive to things that don't serve us well, we have to forgive ourselves for that. We have to let it go and wipe the slate clean. We can continue to punish ourselves. We can continue to make decisions and dig our heels in, or we can accept that not everything is something that we've been able to understand and open ourselves up to that understanding. So your divine masculine allowing themselves to go through this change is going to require them to forgive aspects of themselves. They're going to have to forgive those parts of themselves that didn't see their value, didn't see their worth. We are usually our own worst enemy. When I was going through my dark night of the soul, I realized I had a voice in my head that was extraordinarily abusive to me. It was the way I saw myself, is the way I thought of myself. And I didn't realize until I suddenly had this moment of kind of stepping away from my mind and looking at my mind through more of a curious observer rather than believing that I was the mind. I didn't even realize how powerful and how dominant that voice was. And it was an aspect of myself. Now, I had to forgive that, and it took a long time. It took a long time for me to weed through all of that entanglement with that lower vibrational energy. And I still deal with it sometimes. I'm sure all of you can relate to this. Your divine masculine is no different. They have to untangle themselves from this perspective that they've adopted, again, consciously or unconsciously, but it's all been through a place of naivety, not knowing. And so they need to let those things go. They need to allow that change to come in and have that transformation take place. And that can't happen if they don't forgive themselves of the story that they're holding on to about their past or their potential of the future. Those are all just stories we tell ourselves. We have to wipe the slate clean. Renew our own mind. We have to renew our mind. You are man. Man is mind in Sanskrit. Man is mind in Sanskrit, you guys. Mana, man, mind, same thing. All is mind. All is mind. And we form the fabric of our reality with that beautiful gift of mind. And your divine masculine is doing that just like we all are. And they need to go through this ascension process just like we do. But it's not going to look the same as yours, okay? It has to be allowed to happen as it's meant to, just like yours. What cycle will begin? Oh, wait, hold on. I'm skipping ahead. What was passed down to your divine masculine by ancestors? Have you ever heard the term, the sins of the father passed on to the son? Or you could say the sins of the mother are passed on to the daughter. It's not about male or female. It's about authority passing on belief systems to the naive that are coming into this world. Our parents do it to us. Our authority figures do it to us. Our friends and family who are very well-meaning do this to us. And it's not out of anything other than that same ignorance that we have to let go of and embrace what we truly are in this world, which is soul that has dominion over matter, whether we are aware of it or not. The law of assumption is always working for us. And so your divine masculine has, through a lineage, come into this world and been given a blueprint on a physical and mental level. We all have that, and it affords us with some blessings and also what could look like some curses. But again, when we collapse the duality, we recognize that all is for us. So, what is it that has been passed down to your divine masculine from all of these different sources? And we have the Hermit. There is something in your divine masculine that, like, what I get from this card is that your divine masculine has been placed in the timeline that they've been placed in and are living the life that they're living around all of the people in their lives, their karmics, their families, their friends, all of them, their soulmates, all of them, because they are breaking these ancestral bonds. Not bonds like, okay, let's say they're breaking the ancestral curse. Okay, again, a curse is only something that we're only bound by what we believe in, and we're only bound by things that are negative by our ignorance of these universal laws. You and your divine masculine meeting have caused both of you guys to go through these changes that are going to change the way that the next generations after experience the world and how they see things. So with the work that your divine masculine is doing, with the knowledge that they're gaining along the way, they are imprinting and changing on all of the people and the souls around them for them to live a fuller and better life. And just like I said before, all the world is a stage. We show up as friends and foes. We show up as teachers and students. We show up as parents and children. We play many different characters in the plays of each other's life. Most of those characters we don't even choose. They're projected upon us by those that we interact with. But we make a difference. We make a change. We affect them on an energetic level. And your divine masculine has been placed where they're at in order to make those necessary vibrational changes in that lineage with those people. Everything happens for a reason. Okay, so what cycle will begin if your divine masculine breaks old karmic cycles? And for this, we have Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So if they break the cycles of karma, interestingly enough, this goes right back to kind of being the opposite of this earlier card where we were saying that what is it that your divine masculine needs to learn in their karmic cycle, which is that, or what do they need to break, which is, you know, procrastination and things like that through fear. And this card is an indication that once that is done, that stubbornness, the things that are not working, the laziness and the perceptions of others that have been projected onto your divine masculine will shift and change, and they will have a very different experience because they will be living from a place of authenticity. And so how people react and respond to them will be very different than it was before. And a strong, courageous, intelligent, brilliant version that is the true version of your divine masculine will come to the surface. And they'll be unshakable from that place because they're not looking for it anymore from outside sources. They've tapped into the wellspring within and are able to create that for themselves. So old karmic cycles will break. How will your divine masculine feel once these karmic cycles have been broken? That is so cool. This will be the beginning of an entirely new chapter and era for your divine masculine. A complete fresh start, the wiping of the mind, the wiping of the old perceptions of reality. It's like taking a big eraser and erasing all the chalk on the chalkboard and starting with a fresh, clean slate. It's new adventures, new beginnings, new renewed energy. It's that renewal. It's the resurrection of the true self into this renewed, beautiful, clean slate of whatever it is that your divine masculine chooses. And it's the same for you, divine feminine. It's the same for you. I'm going to get you guys a oracle card. But I do want to ask for you guys to please like and subscribe if you're new here. We would love to have you subscribe and hit the notification bell. We have personal tarot readings, group call memberships where you'll have access to talk to us multiple times per week in a live group call setting. And you can ask any questions that you want, get any help and advice and support along the way. We also have a Facebook group that goes along with that is private and untraceable. So there's these options for any kind of group, counseling or anything like that you're needing and support along the way. Also, we have personal tarot readings. If you're interested in a personal tarot reading, we can do that as well. So if you guys are interested in any of those things, you can find that information in the description box below. And we would love the opportunity to work with you. Let's see here. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this one. I don't even know if I've ever even used this. I think I forgot that I even had this. All right, hold on a second here. Interesting. This is the Illuminated Earth Oracle. And I don't think I've used this, so you guys are getting a first time one here today. I have a lot of decks because I love them so much. Some of them I use more than others because they're my favorites. But I really love them. I love getting new decks, and there's so much wisdom in the booklets that come along with these. I haven't read them, but sometimes I think I need to just pull all my booklets out and read them and just read the oracle cards, because oracle cards are awesome, you guys. I suggest you even get some for yourself. You may not want to learn how to do tarot, but the oracle cards always have a lot of extraordinary spiritual wisdom that, will point you in a wonderful direction. Give you some insight. So let me pull a card here for you. This is a beautiful deck. I'm surprised I haven't used it before. Tempest. Oops. Tempest is our, just dropped the whole deck. Tempest is our card for today. So let's see what this has to say about that. Like the unbridled energy released during an electrical storm, we may find ourselves in a situation that is both violent and activating. Utilize this energy with caution, recognizing it can be a catalyst to both healing and harmful outcomes. The message behind this card has a lot to do with what I've been bringing up a lot in this reading. And I don't know why I keep getting this message in this reading and I'm kind of harping on it. But it's duality. And we always, because our mind is split, right? If you look at the brain, it's dual hemisphere, right? You have the left and the right side. We see that blueprint of the divine and the divine masculine and the divine feminine in everything in life. And your mind is no different. The twin flame journey is the calling to reconcile the opposites. It is a beautiful journey between the feminine and the masculine. On an outward level, you are the divine feminine, the receptive energy, and the divine masculine is the external, but is the generative or the projected energy. And that's just on the physical plane. You have the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and that's what you and your divine masculine represent in the twin flame journey. But it's just a glimpse of the transformational process that's supposed to take place within the individual. It's the externalized projection of the process that's supposed to take place inside the individual. It's the reconciliation of opposites within the self. It's the balancing of the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies that are within you as the individual. And when you see that union take place within the self, which is what all spiritual teachers have been pointing us out throughout all of history, everything on the outside of your life changes because there's balance and harmony within, and it's as within, so without. So if everything seems chaotic on the outside, it's because everything inside of you is chaotic right now. And you're going to know what I mean when I say that. And so this card, I think, is a call to focus on reconciling those opposites. You contain heaven and hell within you. You have God and the devil within you. You have good and evil within you. You have all of these things within you. And it's a reconciliation of those opposites. I highly suggest looking at, all different types of spiritual teachings that date all the way back. Be open to all of them throughout the entire world because they're all pointing us toward the same thing. And sometimes understanding the different religions and seeing the similarities in all of them helps us to recognize that they're all saying the same thing. Our journey is pointing us toward this thing, right? This thing. Everything in our life is pointing us toward that thing right here. The center, okay? All these seemingly, separate experiences that don't look anything like, we come to realize are all different forms pointing us toward the same thing. And until we know the thing, we think they're all separate from each other. But once we know that thing, we realize that they're all the same. They're all pointing us in the same direction. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this reading. I hope that it gave you peace in your heart and that it gave you some insight into what's going on in your divine masculine's journey. And I'll see you guys next week. Take care.